Hi everyone, thank you so much for purchasing my Ultimate Reading Tracker and welcome to the tutorial. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how everything works, from setting up your own copy of the spreadsheet to using all of the different pages and getting the most out of the automation. Now, don't worry if you've never used Google Sheets before, it's actually so much easier than it looks. And once you know where everything is, you'll only need to update a couple of pages to keep the whole tracker up to date. So let's jump straight in. Now, when you purchase the tracker from Etsy, you'll receive two downloads, one of which is this page, and this is where you're going to get your own Google Sheets copy from. Now, I do recommend making sure you do have your own Google account before you download the copy, just because it makes sure it will automatically save it to your Google Drive. So you're just going to go to step one here and select click here to make a copy, and then you're going to come up with this page here and you just select make a copy. It does just take a couple of seconds because the file's so large, but once that is opened, here we go. Okay, so the first thing that I would recommend you do is just change the zoom on the Google Sheet. So as you can see at the moment, it's at 100%. I highly recommend changing it to 75 just because all of the sheets will be much clearer to see and it won't all look so large and sort of crammed into the small space. There's just so much information on each page, it was hard to fit it into like 100% zoom. So I would just recommend selecting 75%. And throughout this tutorial, I am going to be flipping between a brand new copy of the tracker and my own copy, just because on the brand new copy, there's no information at all in there. So all of the pages are going to look pretty blank and pretty plain and won't have any statistics at all. So with my own copy, I've already got a lot of data in there, so we can really see how it looks once you start adding books onto your book log. Now, the first page that you're going to come across is our welcome page, and it's just a little bit of information about the tracker, some instructions, and a bit of a description on each tab. Now, I'm actually going to go over to my own personal copy now, and I'm just going to quickly run through every page, explain what it is, and then we'll come back and look at every page in more detail. Okay, so the first page you're going to land on is your reading dashboard, and this is just an overview of all of the stats and information about your reading personality, your stats, and the different books that you've read. And this is all going to be pulled from your book log, which is here. This probably looks really complicated, but don't worry, I'm going to talk you through all of this. And this is your main hub where you're going to spend most of your time. This is where everything on the tracker is pulled from. So it's really important that you enter your books correctly in here. The next page is your yearly reading goals. The page after that is your book gallery, where you can see a gallery of all of your book covers, some brief information, and you've also got a quick view up here, as well as some filter options. Next is your currently reading page, where it shows the top 4 books that you're currently reading. You've got your TBR page. This is your books that you have got on your TBR list that you do have purchased and you're ready to read. This is a list of your read books. We've got the series tracker. We've also got genre statistics. We've got your author statistics page, your book reviews page, your bookshelf, and your book versus adaptation page, and your reading rewards. So all these are all of the pages included in the tracker, and now I'm going to go into all of them in a bit more detail. Okay, so I'm going to start with the book log. This is the most important page, and this is where you'll spend most of your time, and it's honestly the only page that you'll need to update regularly. Whenever you start a new book, finish one, buy one, add one to your wish list, or simply DNF a book, then you'll simply add it into here. So what I'm going to do is add a book in just to show you, and I'm going to add one that I've read and one to put on my TBR as well, just so I can show you the difference. So you're going to add the title of the book in here. With the covers, they're not obligatory, but I do highly recommend adding the covers in. It just makes the whole tracker so much more aesthetically pleasing. You absolutely don't have to by any means, but it is just something that I highly recommend. So the book that I'm going to add here is going to be called The Cherry Pickers, and that is by author Amanda Peters. I'm going to put in here that I've read this book, and I'm going to put the total pages of the book here, which is 320. And then if you've read the book, I would just put the same number into this category here. Now, if it's an audiobook, you would put the total hours and the hours listened into this section. And then you choose your genre. So there's a huge list of genres here. This book genre is literary fiction, and then you can choose to write your own subgenre in there, or you can just leave it blank. You've then got your format section, so you can choose whether it's hardback, paperback, ebook, or audiobook. And this was paperback. And then you've also got your source section, so just a number of sources from where you got your book. So I'm going to pop in here that this was purchased. You can choose your edition, so whether it was like a collector's, a special edition, sprayed edge, or anything like that. And I am going to choose standard. And then we've also got the publish date for the book as well. On this book, I believe it's the 4th of April 2023. And then you've got your adaptation section. You'll notice here that I've actually locked this part in place so that when you're scrolling across and you need to answer the different sections for the book, you won't get lost as to which book you're answering for, and it can look a little bit confusing. So I've just locked that part there. I've also done the same for this top part here so that when you're scrolling down, you can see exactly what it is you're still filling out. So in the adaptation section, you can choose that it is already adapted to a movie, a series, it's not, it's coming soon, or it's rumored to be. I recommend making this quite accurate because we've got the books versus adaptation section. I'm going to pop no in for this one. Then you've got our little series section here, and this is not part of a series, so I'm not going to include that on here. But if you were, for example, if it was the Harry Potter series, I'm going to put Harry Potter in here, the number of books, there's 7 Harry Potter books, and which number book this is, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That will help with the series tracker. And then you've got priority here. This is what I use for the TBR. So if it's low, medium, or high on the priority list. You've got favorite, so you would just tick one of these if this is one of your favorite books. Then you've got your rating, so you can choose between 1 and 5 stars. So I'll pop this at 4. And you've got your spice level as well, so that's 1 to 5. If it's nothing like a spicy book, then I would just leave it blank. And you then put your reading dates in. Now, this part is also very important because this is going to help with the years of your reading stats. So if whichever date you put in that you finished a book is what year category this book will fall into. So I am going to pop here that I started the book on the 29th of June 2026. Oh, that's the finish date. 29th of June 2026. And I finished the book on the 1st of July 2026. And it will automatically calculate how long it took you to read that book. We've got location here as well. So you've got main bookshelf, TBR, which is in your bedroom, living room, office, just so you know where it is. So I'll put main bookshelf on here. The cost of the book, if it's gifted or if you haven't bought it yet, you can just leave that blank. I'll pop in here, I paid £4.99. Whether you've sold the book, I'm going to pop no. If it's on your wish list, you can use this section to put a buy link in. And then you've got a section here for brief notes. So I'm just going to pop a little note in here. Beautifully written, emotional family story with memorable characters. Now you won't be able to see the full note once you've written it, but don't worry, I'll come to that. It will be on another section of the tracker. And then go to the cover. So as I mentioned, I highly recommend putting covers in. Don't worry if you don't want to, you absolutely don't have to. It just makes the whole tracker sort of blend in a little bit better. So to do, and we're going to search for the book cover. So Berry Pickers cover, and go to images. And then I am just going to save the image to my downloads, or you can save image as and save it to my device. Now I'm going to go back to the tracker, and in this cover section here, I am going to pull this down and select insert. And then from here, I'm going to select image. And this option here, it's important that we choose insert an image into the cell rather than over it. So I'm going to click insert an image into the cell, browse, and then on my downloads, I'm going to select the cover and upload. Great, so the cover is now in there. Now that's the main crux of how to enter a book. I'll also pop in another book for my wish list, and I'll just show you the difference between how we add it to the TBR list and the wish list. So I'll just get another book to pop in here. So we've got the Emperor of oh, Emperor of Gladness, and that is by Ocean. And we're going to pop in here want to read, and the number of pages is 416, so we haven't started it yet. As soon as you enter into the pages column, the audiobooks columns will go blank, and vice versa. If I was to pop in here that it was 5 hours long, if it's an audiobook, then these sections here for the pages go blank too. So I'm going to pop in here 416, and I'm going to fill out the rest of it. So it is a literary fiction. Again, you can put the format, even if you've not read it yet, how you're planning to purchase it. And then in this section here, we're going to pop wish list. Now, if this is a book that you have already purchased but you haven't read yet, I would put it exactly the same. So put it in your want to read section, but instead of wish list, select another source, so whichever other way that you've received the book. And then again, you can just carry on and fill out the rest of the book log. Obviously, we won't be able to put in any ratings or anything yet because it's not been read yet, but you can update that as you go. So, for example, if I then purchased this book and started to read it, I would change this section here to currently reading. And as you can see, these steps up here will update. And I would then put in the number of pages that I have already read, and I would change the source from wish list into purchased, and I would then include the date started for this one as well. So if I started that today, it would be on, I believe it's the 5th of July 2026. And then you just update the tracker when you go. So when you come back to it, if you then finish the book and read it, you would select read. That will change your progress to 100%. And then I would always recommend just going in and changing the current page to the total page number. And that is the book log. So again, you would just add the cover in the same way. If it's a series, then you would enter the information in here, but you just enter the information that's relevant to that book and is relevant to whether you have read, owned, DNF the book, etc. So I hope that's a really clear explanation of the book log and how it works. All of the stats from the book log are put into the rest of the tracker. So as I mentioned, it is important that we keep this up to date or accurate, just to make sure everything else flows correctly. And this is one of the main pages that you'll be altering. A lot of the other pages are sort of view only. So this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. One little note actually is on the adaptation section. So if, for example, again, I'm just going to go back to Harry Potter as my example. If there is an adaptation for each book, then I would select, if I was to put Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in this section, I would select yes, movie, and then I would do the same for all of the other books. If there is just one adaptation for a whole series of books, then I would only select yes on the first book or the most relevant book, and the rest of them I would select no. And that is just because otherwise the books versus adaptations page will pull each book, and if there's only one adaptation, then it will just look a little bit messy. So that is what I recommend doing for the adaptation section. And as I said, I really hope I'm explaining everything okay here. It might be a little bit jumbled. But if anyone does have any questions whatsoever, you can DM me. I will get back to you so quickly. And yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't really plan this tutorial in advance, so I'm just kind of sort of winging it a little bit. But I'm hoping that it really makes sense. Now, the next page that you're going to be filling out is your reading goals page here. And again, a lot of the stats and details on your dashboard will be pulled from this section as well. So there is a little table here where you can enter your books goal, pages goal, audiobook hours goal, genres explored, authors read, series completed goal. And you just put the numbers in here, and this will actually automate into each of these boxes too. Now, if you wanted to put your goals in for next year as well, or for the next 5 years, if you really wanted to, you can absolutely do that. And then you'll be able to see your goal progress for each year. Now I've only got 2026 filled out on mine, so the rest are going to show as blank, but you can select the years here and it will show you your goal, where you are currently, and where you are on your progress for that. Okay, so your next page is your book gallery. And again, this is why I stress to add the covers because it looks so much prettier. And this is just an overview of all of the books that you've added into your book log. Now, this is a a view only page. So when I say that for each page, I just mean there's nothing to be changed or entered into these pages. And there's really specific formulas in all of these pages as well. And if they're altered, it can alter a lot of stuff on the book tracker. So we just recommend leaving the formulas as they are and not changing anything on these pages. I have got an FAQ section on our welcome guide on what to do if you accidentally change one of the formulas. So don't panic if you do. It can be undone or you can just make another copy. But yeah, just for these view only pages, there's nothing to be entered or changed there, just to view the information that's pulled from the book log. And on this page, you've got all of your books here with the title, author, star rating, and the status. You've also got a quick view up here. So you can use the drop down and find any book that you've popped in here, or you can type it into. So if I typed in the one that I've just entered, the Berry Pickers, that will come up here with the cover, some information, and the notes that I've entered. And then here we've got a filter for the book gallery. You can change the status, you can select the format, so only show books that are paperback, and then you can change the genre as well. So I've put fantasy in, and that will just filter out the books to the filters that you've chosen. You can change those all back to all, and then you can also sort by as well. So if you wanted to do the titles from A to Z, if you wanted to do the authors from A to Z, it will all update automatically. And then next we've got our currently reading page. So this will just show the top 4 books that you're currently reading and some of the stats on them. So how many you're reading, the amount of pages remaining, your progress, the format, so that will be paperback, ebook, audiobook, the amount of genres you're reading, and the number of books that you're reading that are within a series. You've then got your TBR page. Now, this is going to be a list of the books that are on your TBR that you have purchased, so they're available to read. And they are all automated into this table here. You've got your priority, the title, author, genre, format, part of a series, and your status. Your next up is calculated based off when you added the book into the book log and the priority that you've set for that book as well. So you can use this to choose your next book. Or we have got a random pick feature here, which I love. So you just click this little button here and it will randomly generate a book from your TBR list. So if you don't like the one that it's chosen, you can keep going through it, and it will give you a random book from your TBR. The next page is your read books. So here you can actually select the year that you're looking at, or you can choose all time. So if this is the books that you've read all together, and then it will show you the number of books read, the pages read, and your average rating. If you wanted to just change it to the current year, it will update automatically. And this will show your most recent read, your most read genre, the average pages per book, your most read author, and your most read format. Again, this as well as the TBR and the currently reading are all view only pages, so there's nothing to change on here. Your next page is the series tracker. So this is just going to give you an overview of all of the books in a series. And you can choose from all of your series in this drop down box here. It will show you the total books in the series, the number of books added to your book log. So if there's 10 books in a series, but you've only added 3 of them, that's what that one means there. The number of books from the series that you've actually read and completed, and your average rating so far. So this tracker will show you up to 10 books. and just for example, it will update automatically. Which other ones do we have for in class? Yeah, and we'll just show you a nice little row of the books in that series. We've then got your genre statistics. Again, you can change the year in this drop down here. It will show you your statistics for each year as well as all time. And it'll give you a list of the genres that you've read, the number of books read in that genre, and some more information on those, as well as a little chart here. And then you've also got the same for your author statistics. So again, you can change the time period, you can change the year, and it will give you the information about each author, what your average rating is, and a little chart here. The next page, which I love, is the book reviews page. So this is where you can actually review each book in a lot more detail. And there is a little overview up here, and it shows the number of reviews written, your longest review, how many you would read and recommend, your favorite characters, that would be if you've entered the same character numerous times, your average rating, and your most common mood. So to leave a book review, the way you would do that is you would first start at the book title here. And you would select the book that you want to do a review for. So you can type it in again. I will do the book that I most recently added. That'll be the Berry Pickers. And then you'll see that this information will all be included automatically. And you're then going to select whether you would reread it and also whether you would recommend it. And then you're going to put your thoughts into this box here. What I'll actually do is, I don't have it on my copy, but it is on the master copy. I'll lock this little bar in place so that when you scroll down, you'll be able to still see it at the top and you'll know which section you're writing into. So I will just write my review for that book here. Perfect. So your review goes into there, and you're then going to choose your mood badge. So how this book left you feeling afterwards. I'll select that it made me emotional. You're then going to pop your favorite quote in here. And you're then going to pop your favorite character into this one. So I'm going to pop Norma. Your favorite moment from the book, and your favorite trope from the book too. So you can enter those. I'm not going to pop those in now. And then your note from the book log. So that short note that you wrote at the end, that automatically goes into here. And then you can do that for every book. So just want to let you know as well that this drop down here, for example, you've written the review and all of the information in here. If you then change the book, this information is not going to change. It stays with the row. So just make sure you don't change the book afterwards. If you do, then you can just change it back. And that takes us on to our bookshelf. So this is where you're going to see the information that you've popped into the review. So if I go in here and type the Berry Pickers, it will pull the book, the mood badge, the favorite quote, favorite trope, favorite scene, the selections that I made on rereading and recommending, and my thoughts and notes, as well as the cover. And it just gives you a bigger view of each book rather than trying to read it from this sort of page, because it can get a little bit overwhelming. And yeah, again, all of this information is pulled from the reviews and the book log pages. And then my favorite page, which is the book versus adaptation. This is something that I didn't find when I was like looking for my own book trackers previously, and I thought I'd really love to include it. So as you can see, I've already entered a few in here. We've got Heated Rivalry. I'm sure we've got a lot of lovers of that book and series at the moment. And so I'm just going to show you how to use it. So you're going to scroll down, they're going to go into sort of like a list. And so here's a fresh one here. Now, the first thing you're going to do is select a book. So these are all of the books that you selected yes to in the adaptation section. So if I choose Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Now, this information is going to be entered automatically. Oh, so I haven't actually reviewed this one, so this information isn't going to show in here. So let's actually choose one that we have already reviewed that is also a movie or series. let's do, I believe I've already done it, but let's do normal people. Um, so yeah, this is going to mainly work for the books that you've already reviewed as well. So normal people, we've got the book cover and all of the information that I put into the book review. So this information, you're going to want to keep it as it is. You don't want to change any of this because it's pulled from the book reviews page. And then you're going to add your own information here. So the adaptation title, and then you can choose the format from this drop down. Release year, I believe it was 2020, where you watched it. So you could choose the streaming service, the channel, the cinema, wherever you watched it. So I believe I watched it on BBC iPlayer. And then your adaptation rating. You could put some brief thoughts here, your favorite casting choice, your favorite scene, and what you thought about the soundtrack or the score. And then this little section here is going to be for the adaptation cover. So it's exactly the same as how you did it for the book log with the cover. So you're just going to go over to Google, and I'm going to choose Normal People series poster. I think that will come back. So again, you just save it as you did before, save it to your downloads or save it to your device. And then you'll go onto this tab here, select insert image and insert an image into the cell. That's really important. You don't want to put it over the cell. And then you just select that, and then you've got like a bit of a comparison before the book between the book cover and the poster cover. And you can then pop in all these boxes here some more information about your comparison. So you can choose a rating for the accuracy to the book, your favorite performance, and you can choose a winner. So whether you preferred the book, the adaptation, or whether you think it's a tie. So in this case, I'm actually going to put the adaptation. I know that's quite a unpopular opinion on most book versus adaptations. And then your final verdict. So you could just put your final thoughts as to why you chose this. For example, you can see I did The Housemaid. I've already done Normal People actually, Harry Potter and Heated Rivalry. So I put quite a long final verdict in there. And so again, this is one of 3 pages that you're going to be editing. It's going to be the book log, the book reviews page, and the books versus adaptations. And last but not least, we've got the reading rewards. So this is just some fun little reading challenges that I came up with. Again, you don't really need to edit anything here, but um, you're basically given a badge based on how many challenges you've completed. So you've got new reader, bookworm, page turner, story explorer, literary adventurer, master librarian, and reading legend. And so it will show your current badge here as well as the next badge that you're going to be earning and how many challenges you've got to do before you earn that next badge. And your progress will show here and the number of challenges you've completed. So all you would do is once you have completed the challenge, you would just tick this box and the date that you completed it. So I'll just put the 1st of January. And then as you can see here, your progress has been updated. And if I select these number of challenges, it changes your badge to the next tier. So this is just a bit of fun. I just thought it was something that I would add as a fun little challenge for everyone to do, and you can like earn your badges, and your goal would be to earn the Reading Legend badge. So I hope you enjoy that. And last but absolutely not least, I said that about this page, but this is actually the last page. It is going to be the dashboard. And this is going to be your main overview. So this is back at the start here. Again, this is another read only page, and oh, I absolutely love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. So I hope you love it too. And what I'm going to do is just go through a bit of a run through on what each of the sort of stats mean, where it comes from, and how to use it. So we've got our reading stats here, and again, you can change this section here to all time. So this will be across all of the years that you finished your books, all the way down to the year before, the current year, and it will all update as you can see based on the one that you've chosen. Um, so you've got your books read, pages read, hours listened, all of those stats, and they will all update automatically. And then my absolute favorite part, which I'm so glad with how it turned out, is the reading personality here. And this is based on the number of books that you've read and what you've rated them. So The most books that I've read in a genre are fantasy. So my reading personality is fantasy escapist, and it'll give you a bit of a description of the personality here and the things that you tend to love. Again, sorry, I'm clicking all over it here, but yeah, if you could just not change any of the formulas whilst you're looking at it, that'd be amazing. Um, You've then got your reading goals here, which is based on the reading goals that we popped it into this section here. So that information is going to be pulled from there. All time, it's just for this section specifically, if you select all time, it is just going to show the current year that we're on. Um, but if you change it to 2025, then it will be for that year. 2026 is for this year specifically. And then we've got book spotlight. So this is the book that you've most recently read, rated 5 star, and selected as one of your favorites. And it will just give you some brief information here, like when you finished it and what the rating was. You've then got reading wrapped here, which is stolen a little bit from like Spotify wrapped. I wanted to include something like that in this dashboard. And again, it's just got some stats here about which, like your most common mood badge that's taken from your review page, your top reading month, most read author, all of that good stuff. And then you've got your reading trends table here. So again, that will pull from all time. And you've got the number of books that you read in each month, as well as the pages that you read. So that's just a visual overview of your reading trends throughout the year. You've then got your most recent reads. So it was the last 3 books that you read and when you finished them. The next section is your genre breakdown. So it's just a breakdown of the different genres that you read and the percentages of books, which genres, sorry, struggling to word that, which percentage of your books are within each genre, if that makes sense. And then last but not least, another part that I absolutely love is your reading DNA. So this is taken from your genre breakdown and it is your top 3 genres and what it says about you. And it just gives you a little bit of a personality description here. So that is absolutely everything. I hope that I've explained that okay. This is my first tutorial, so I'm really sorry if it was a bit messy and all over the place. As I mentioned, if you've got any questions whatsoever, then feel free to drop me a message on Etsy. I am more than happy to help. Within your download, you'll also get the welcome guide, so the instructions are written down for each page as well, if you need to just sort of refer back to it. And I'll also put timestamps on this video as well, so you can flick through it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that it is everything that you expected and more. And as I said, anything you need, then please get in touch. But apart from that, thank you so much for purchasing this reading tracker, and I hope you love it. Bye bye.